Welcome to the RA facility on the campus of Southwest Minnesota State University. Mustang basketball for you tonight. Men's basketball, the SMSU Mustangs taking on the University of Minnesota Morris Cougars. Sam Perrell alongside Connor Dopp. The Mustang men come into tonight 2-3 overall after taking down Mayville State yesterday here in the RA facility. And the Cougars also come in tonight 2-3 overall. This will be an exhibition game for the Cougars, but it will count for the Mustangs as the Cougars are Division III and the SMSU Mustangs are NSIC Division II. So quickly, Connor, before we hit the anthem, what are the three keys for the Mustangs tonight to pick up the W and get back to 500?
Keys for the Mustangs, it's going to be a lot like last night. It was kind of an exhibition game last night, D2 against NAIA Division II team in Mayville last night. So they're going to want to run the floor when the opportunity arises. They did a nice job of that last night, getting steals and then running the floor. They're also going to want to have a balanced attack like they did last night. A lot of players got into the scoring column. The leading scorer was Caden Evans in his first collegiate action with 13. Next highest was true freshman Cliff McCray with 12. And everybody else was all around that 5-6 points range. So they had a very balanced attack. And then they're also going to want to run Morris off the line. Morris shoots a lot of three-pointers, especially Dylan Hyder. He has shot 33. He has shot nearly 3/5 of his shots from behind the arc. So he's going to love to pull that trigger, along with James Pendleton, Kenneth Riley, Jarrett Johnson, and a lot of the other Cougars.
We will step aside for the create and the anthem, and we will bring it right back here to the RA facility for starting lineups for both teams and then tip-off. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
Are you looking for a place that treats you like family? Small class sizes, engaging and caring faculty, excellent value with the lowest possible tuition, challenging academics, and life-changing experiences in a diverse environment? Then it's time to join the Mustang family at Southwest Minnesota State University. SMSU is where you belong.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for 1. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Staring contest.
still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Mustangs and Cougars about ready to kick it off. We have the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Minnesota Morris Cougars, here's Connor Dopp.
Starting for the Cougars, number 5, a 5'10 guard from Redwood Falls, Minnesota, James Pendleton. Number 11, a 6'1 sophomore guard from Melrose, Minnesota, Dylan Hyder. Number 15, a sophomore forward from Spring Valley, Minnesota, Kenneth Riley. Number 32, a freshman forward from Zimmerman, Minnesota, number 32, Ian Carlin. And number 34, a freshman forward from Morris, Minnesota, Jarrett Johnson. Morris is head coached by Paul Grove in his 18th season coaching the Cougars, and he is assisted by Jalen Boss.
As the lights dim in the RA facility, the Mustangs hype video is being played. We have the starting lineups for your Southwest Minnesota State University Mustangs, head coached by Brad Bigler in his 11th season at the helm of the Mustangs with his assistant coaches Nick Smith, Brandon Pileski, Taylor Schaefer, and Jared Kuhl. Starting first for your Mustangs, 6'8" junior forward out of Marshall, Minnesota, number 0, Weston Baker McGrath. 6'2" freshman guard out of Sioux City, Iowa, number 2, Cliff McCray. 6'7" sophomore guard out of Johnson, Iowa, number 5, Grant Kramer. 6'4" junior guard out of Old Kansas, number 13, Kenny Byers. And rounding out the starting lineup for your Mustangs, 6'6" redshirt freshman forward out of Bettendorf, Iowa, number 30, Brian Damon. Mustangs are going to come out in their brand new brown on brown jerseys with white trim, and the Cougars are going to come out gray on gray, gold and maroon trim, as they are a member of that University of Minnesota group of colleges. Mustangs, all brand new jerseys last year, Connor. Last year we saw the gold, or last night we saw the gold ones. This year, or tonight, we see the new brown ones, almost kind of going a little vintage. Like we talked to Braden Hansen before the game, and he mentioned that a player from last year, Taylor Schaefer's had actually donated these jerseys, and they look pretty good from here, Connor. Names on the back, and he pointed out something interesting that we'll get to a little more in depth. The Mustangs without a senior on this team, so we'll get into that a little bit later as the Mustangs win the tip, and Cliff McCray has it. McCray drives in. McGrath with an early throwdown.
Well, that's a nice way for the Mustangs to start, getting a nice inside drive there by McCray and dump it off to Baker McGrath for the slam.
And a block for Baker McGrath as well.
Baker McGrath coming into this game, he's second in the NSIC in blocks per game, only behind Kalen Kramer from Minnesota State Mankato.
Just behind him in average and total. Kramer with 15. Baker McGrath with 11. He's got 12 now. Shot clock under 10. They get it inside to Baker McGrath. He will back him down. Hook shot, good. Weston Baker McGrath with all 4 of the points early here for the Mustangs.
Weston Baker McGrath, a transfer from Nebraska Kearney, and we talked to his brother before the game, after the game yesterday. He said that Baker McGrath was more of a defensive player. Baker McGrath showing his offensive side here.
That is something the Mustangs have needed ever since losing Carter Kirk. Didn't really have that big presence inside, minus having Stephen McNeese just for a couple games last year. Ryan Heyman's basket off. He drives in and goes up, and a nice dish there from Baker McGrath. And he gets a basket to fall. Mustangs early 6-2 lead. Was Dylan Hyder on the other end.
Damon there with a nice finish. He didn't play at all last year. Redshirt freshman, one of 4 on this team for the Mustangs. That's a nice take there and good finish.
Brian Damon making his 4th start. Nice tip there by Kramer. Baker McGrath on the floor. The Cougars come up with it. Nice dish from Hyder. Carlin with that basket. Byers drives, finds Damon inside. McGrath, just nice little easy reverse layup. Weston Baker McGrath early here, 6 points.
Baker McGrath with 6 points, and he had 8 last night. His career high as a member of the Mustangs is only 10 points, so he's already got 3 baskets, only 2 more to tie that.
And a steal from Damon, but he loses it. Shot clock did not reset. It is under 10. Outside 3-point basket, and that one is good. Jarrett Johnson with the 3 for the Cougars, and they cut the lead to 1.
Jarrett Johnson, one of the freshmen that plays here on this Cougars team.
Nice defense by Kramer and Byers hustling back. 4 subs coming in now for the Mustangs. Caden Evans, Nick Dufault, Jake Phipps, Braden Hansen sub in for the Mustangs. So Kenny Byers, the only one that stays in there for the Mustangs.
I gotta say, Sam, seeing these players, the subs walking in, I love the back of the jerseys, seeing the names on them. These jerseys really do look nice.
As we mentioned earlier, donated by the father of SMSU graduate from last year, also played on the men's basketball team, Taylor Schaefer. And they got the names on the back counter because the Mustangs do not have a single senior on their team, as that shot is made by Trent Drome. So the Mustangs are going to be able to wear these jerseys again next year, because every person that is playing in this game, even the redshirts sitting on the bench right now, are going to be here next year, as there's a battle for it. And Dufault trying to call a timeout, but it'll be a jump ball. And it will be going to the Cougars. Mustangs won the tip.
You mentioned that no seniors on this team, Sam, and you got to wonder, maybe they're a little young, maybe no experience, but Coach Brad Bigler, he's a very good coach, winningest coach in SMSU history. And then they also have players that have played quite a bit. Kenny Byers, true junior. Nick Dufault, true junior. Braden Hansen, true junior. So they do still have some experience.
3-point basket outside. That one is good. And Coach Bigler is going to call a timeout. Mustangs trailing by 4. You're watching Mustang basketball on SMSU Media.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm going to drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text-to-emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
Mustangs 4-point deficit here, as we see that 3-point basket from Jarrett Johnson that falls. And Brad Bigler with an emphatic timeout take, and not happy with his team at all on their defense, finding themselves down for Connor. That was one of your key points of the game, was chasing the Cougars off of that 3-point line, and so far the Mustangs haven't done that.
They definitely have, and Jarrett Johnson already with 2 threes. 5 of 6 from the field for the Mustangs, and Jarrett Johnson has both the threes for him, so they're just not stopping the Cougars very well when they do put up shots.
Phipps pass inside. Hansen a little too high for him, couldn't handle it, and it's going to come down. It's Cougars ball.
That's another thing the Mustangs have done poorly at the start of this game, turning the ball over quite a bit.
Hyder puts a 3-point basket up off the other side. No good. Rebounded by Dufault. Evans will get the screen. He will drive. He'll put the floater up. No good. Their foul on the play. Caden Evans will head to the line. That one is going to be on Dylan Hyder, his first, team's first of the game.
Caden Evans heading to the line. He missed the first 4 games of the year due to injury. Had a nice coming out party in his first collegiate game with 13 points. He'll be shooting 2 free throws at the line, but that has not been one of the Mustangs' strong suits this year.
This season, the Mustangs a little over 50% from the line. A huge difference from where they were last year. Last year, sitting 81.3% from the line, having a player like Ryan Brueggemann last year who shot well above 95% from the line. Definitely helped out that percentage, but Mustangs yesterday making all of their free throws, and Evan gets the second one to fall, so Mustangs on the night 2 for 2.
That's definitely what you like to see if you're Brad Bigler. Good free throw shooting team. They've traditionally been a good free throw shooting team.
Nice trap there by the Mustangs, but Cougars able to get out of it. Missed shot there by Talley, and Hansen came down with it, and we're going to get a travel on Caden Evans. Mustangs are going to continue to put pressure, though.
Evans trying a little fake handoff there with Jake Phipps and tried to split the defense. Didn't exactly work and gets called for the travel. Also, the Mustangs here going with the press early. We saw this a lot last night against Mayville State, and it didn't work out for them the best way. They had stretches where they were very productive with it, though.
3-point basket off, rebounded by Kramer. Evans bringing it the other way for the Mustangs. Handoff Dufall, thought about the three. Nick Dufall, one of those lockdown 3-point shooters, high up in the air, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Jake Phipps. That'll be his first, team's first.
Saw Jake Phipps there go up for that rebound. Over the back is the call. He didn't like the call, and I thought from here it was pretty clean, but the rest saw it differently.
We're going to take our first media timeout. Mustangs trail by 2. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
Hi, my name is Sam Prell. I'm originally from Sauk Center, Minnesota. I'm a broadcast and digital media major. In my sophomore year, I had the opportunity to direct a multi-camera football production, and I know that it will help me in my future career. Come join us here at the SMSU Communication Studies program.
Mustangs trail by 2 early here in the first half of this second of 2 home games here played at the RA facility. Mustangs beating Mayville State last night in their home opener, improving to 2-3, looking to get back to 500. But Connor, a lot of sloppy play here early from the Mustangs and just not being able to close out on shooters.
A lot of sloppy play. You mentioned it, Sam. A lot of turnovers here for the Mustangs. Start the game, and Morris with 2 steals, and they have 5 points off of those turnovers. I mean, that's not a lot, but considering you're only 5 minutes into this game, that's definitely a lot for just a short amount of time.
5 total turnovers for the Mustangs, and that is way too many at this point of the game. They got to cut down on those if they want a chance to stay in this game. Nice tip there by Kramer. He chases him down.
It's not just that the Mustangs have 5 turnovers, Sam. The Cougars don't even have 1 yet themselves.
And the Cougars, they're flirting with a couple turnovers. But that ball tipped out of bounds. Off of Cliff McCray will stay with Morris.
Saw a lot of that from Cliff McCray last night. Very active defensively and did a nice job there.
Baker McGrath up in the air. The basket is off. Cliff McCray will drive. Trying to find some room. Mustangs moving the ball good around the perimeter, but you got to get that ball inside. Damon drive up top. Dufall 3, no good. Ball being batted around, and it's going to be back to Baker McGrath, who puts it up, and the basket will not fall. But Weston Baker McGrath will head to the line to shoot 2.
Great save there by Brian Damon. That ball bounced it around all over the place there and looked like it was going out of bounds. Damon with the good hustle play saves it to McGrath. McGrath getting fouled. He wanted to make the shot, obviously didn't, but he'll head to the line for 2.
A foul on Corbin Alexander, his first, team second. Baker McGrath. Number 21, Tath Dak, checks in for the Cougars. Head coach Paul Grove, 18th season, coaching University of Minnesota Morris. Second one follows for Baker McGrath, using quite a bit of guys early in this game as a lot of guys rotating in. Good defense there by Dufault.
It's one thing Coach Brad Bigler preaches. He wants good defense from his teams. It's not like some high school teams, some NBA teams, and some college teams that like to run out and get a lot of offensive possessions.
That basket there by Alexander is good on the nice drive from Dak. Drive, nice cut by Damon. Tries to get it to Baker McGrath, but cannot get it inside as it's tipped away. And we're going to get a charge. Cliff McCray giving up the body.
You definitely like to see that out of your true freshman, number 2, Cliff McCray. And we said it a lot last time. Shades of Ryan Brueggemann right there. Cliff McCray giving up the body, drawing the charge, active on defense, and also pretty good on offense as well.
Hanson, Evans, Phipps, and Byers check back in.
Not a lot of height here for this Cougar team, as Ian Carlin listed at 6'6", going against Jake Phipps, who's 6'9", as Phipps with a nice bucket inside off the feed from Kramer. Carlin looks like a small 6'6", though, to me, based on the size of Jake Phipps.
And Phipps taking advantage of the height in there. The Mustangs with a lot of players in right now with a lot of height. Grant Kramer listed at 6'7". Jake Phipps at 6'9". Brayden Hanson at 6'7". So Mustangs with a lot of height in there compared to the Cougars. But we're going to get a foul here on Phipps, and that's going to be his second. Team's second. So Baker McGrath is going to have to check back in. And Connor, this is a situation we were in last night where Weston Baker McGrath had 2 fouls early, so Jake Phipps had to play more minutes. So little role reversal here, and if you're Brad Bigler, you can't risk Baker McGrath getting any fouls either, because that puts both of your big men in foul trouble.
Not necessarily the worst thing, because Baker McGrath has done a nice job here early in this game, but you're absolutely right, Sam. You don't want to get either of them in foul trouble, otherwise you're forced to go to your redshirt or your sophomore, Kevin Todashek, unless you want Brayden Hanson or Grant Kramer maybe playing that 5 position.
And a nice hook shot there from Baker McGrath. Gets that basket to fall. And Connor, we saw that last year where Stephen McNeese went out with an injury and missed a lot of the season. And Michael Lee had to fill in that spot. And Michael Lee, for sure, not that true center, but he had the height at 6'8", where he could play that when Coach Brad Bigler needed him to. Basket there by the Cougars. Gives them the lead.
10 minutes, or about 9 minutes into this game, and we have yet to see anything from Kenny Byers, who's kind of that spark plug that the Mustangs kind of want him to be this year.
Basket off there by Baker McGrath. Nice hedge outside to stop the drive. Dak with it. He'll drive on Evans. And Baker McGrath wasn't expecting that pass to come to him either, but a bounce pass right up into his face.
Christmas came early there for Baker McGrath. He was basically gifted that steal.
Evans' three-point basket. That one is off. Baker McGrath comes down with the board. And then we have a whistle and a jump ball, and it will go to the Mustangs.
I saw two officials blow their whistle there. I wasn't sure if the baseline official was going to call a foul there, but it looks like the side official here calling a jump ball. Regardless, it'll stay with the Mustangs.
Referees discussing, I believe, shot clock, what the situation is there, whether it resets all the way to 30 or resets to 20. Since the possession stayed with the Mustangs on the jump ball, the shot clock goes to 19. So 1 second less for the Mustangs to operate.
It's one of the new things in men's basketball this year, not just men's, but women's as well. But anytime off an offensive rebound, it'll go to 20. So that's what the shot clock operator thought it was going to be, but since no change of possession, it will stay where it is.
Evans slips a little bit. Hansen fires from 3. It is off, and it is out of bounds. Ran down by Zach Bubani, who checked in during the last break for the Cougars. And Dylan Hyder also returning.
Morris here with a pretty young team on this. All in all, a lot of freshmen and sophomore out there.
The Cougars on their team only with 2 seniors. You mentioned, Connor, a lot of young talent on the Cougars as well. 2 young teams going at it right here. Cougars hold the lead with 2. We'll take our second media timeout. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look.
Mustangs, Cougars. Close one here, just under 10 minutes remaining. Mustangs 16, Cougars 18. Connor, it's been kind of a sloppy play for both teams. Mustangs not playing like they were last night. Last night came out absolutely on fire. They shot 67% from the field during that first half. So far tonight, 50%, and they've only took 12 shots, and we're 10 minutes in.
Definitely not the kind of start you wanted to see if you're Coach Brad Bigler from your team, down 2 over halfway through this first half. 6 turnovers. That number's got to go down for the Mustangs if you're playing a D3 school like Minnesota Morris.
Want to look at one bright side out of this. Mustangs have 16 points. 10 of them belong to Weston Baker McGrath, who's had himself a night so far. Braden Hansen, 3-point basket. That one is off. Hansen not happy with himself, but he's got to forget that he just missed a shot and go play some tough D. Cougars moving the ball around up top. Byers on Bobani. He'll take the 3. That one is off. Battle for the rebound is out, and it will be Mustang ball.
Well, on the bright side is that 3 there missed by Zach Bubani. That was their 6th 3. They started 2 for 2, but they haven't made one since. So Mustangs clamping up a little bit outside on the perimeter, not letting the Cougars hit those or get open 3-point looks.
Those 2 3-pointers belong to Jarrett Johnson. He had both of them early And they were wide open threes as well, so the Mustangs getting a hand in the face, putting some pressures, causing the Cougars to miss those deep shots. Mustangs looking inside to Baker McGrath as they have done so often. He'll kick back out. Cliff McCray, three-pointer, rattles around. Damon battles for the rebound but can't get a hold of it. And they are going to call a foul on Brian Damon for pulling the Cougars player down.
Brian Damon just trying to reach a hand back there, get hand on the ball, maybe force a jump ball. Ref didn't see it that way, and Damon gets called for the foul there.
Damon's first foul, team's third. Cougars cross the timeline. Three-point basket out of the corner, off. Dufault, smallest guy out there for the Mustangs, gets the rebound.
Not just out there for the Mustangs, but almost for all the team in general. Listed at 5'11", but as you mentioned last night, Sam, and in comparison to a bunch of these other players, he doesn't look like he's 5'11".
No, he does not. And Coach Bigler told me to begin the season that they have him listed at that 5'11", and that's giving Nick Dufault a couple inches there. So 5'10", maybe even 5'9" is Nick Dufault. And the Mustangs forcing a turnover in their press, so Mustangs with an opportunity here to take the lead.
It's one thing you want to see from the Mustangs. Nice pull-up jumper there by Kenny Byers. That's his bread and butter. Not the best three-point shooter, but he can definitely hit the mid-range and drive to the rim.
Cougars just barely get it across the timeline before a 10-second violation. Drive in. Nice pass. Byers battling for it. Inside that basket, good by Kenneth Riley.
Last night, we didn't see Weston Baker McGrath a whole lot, but with the two fouls to Jake Phipps here to start this game, he's definitely had to play a little bit more, but he's done a nice job in the time he's given.
Rebounded by Peterson. Off the missed jumper by Byers. Looked like it may have been a travel there, but no call by the ref, and Riley able to knock down the three-point basket. Damon with it. Trying to find a lane. He'll put up a hook shot. That is no good. Damon tries to battle for it. Peterson comes down with the rebound.
Peterson with that rebound, one of the two seniors on this team. You mentioned, Sam, they only have two on this team, a relatively young team.
We counted over the last media timeout. 8 freshmen on this Cougars team, so they're going to be good for years to come. And everyone else in their conference, in their division, they better be watching out because Moritz is going to be good for years to come. Baker McGrath was ready for that rebound, but Kenny Byers, easy little layup put in, and the Mustangs, again, only trail by 1.
Nice take there by Kenny Byers, noticing the smaller defender on him, took it right to him, finishing over the top.
Carlin thought about the three. He'll drive, kick back out. Byers comes down with the board. He's going to get the screen from Baker McGrath. He goes up anyways. And risky play there from Kenny Byers, slapping down at the ball. And Connor, usually if you do that, even if you get contact with the ball, referees aren't afraid to throw that foul at you.
A lot of times that is going to be the call if a player slaps down at the ball. Ian Carlin with the three there for the Cougars. But yeah, that is a risky play. You see it in the NBA a lot. Players do that. You see it in college too. You do that, usually have a foul call.
That one played out nicely by Damon as he was falling out, threw it off one of the Cougars. So it will remain Mustang ball as Evans, Hansen, Kramer, and Jake Phipps with those 2 fouls check back in for the Mustangs. He's got to be careful. You pick up that third and you almost eliminate yourself for a big chunk of that second half as well. Dufault pull up off the other side of the rim. Mustangs can't buy a three-point basket tonight. They're 0 of 7.
Not something you usually see out of Nick Dufault. A very good shooter, probably the best on this Mustang team. And he missed pretty badly there, maybe getting the back rim just a little bit. But a bad miss by Nick Dufault, something you don't usually see.
Three-point basket from Dylan Hyder. Increases the lead to 7 here for the Cougars. Hanson up top. Evans trying to find a lane. Kicks it out to Dufault. He will pull up. Basket is off. Phipps try to get it from behind. Pass up ahead. Riley, corner three-point basket, way off. That one saved by Talley. Shot clock at 5. Talley forced to put up a basket. It is off. Nobody there to rebound but Hanson.
Mustangs need to get something going here. Haven't had a point in quite a while, and down by 7, which is not what the Mustangs want to see. Nice feed there, though, from Braden Hanson to Jake Phipps.
Jake Phipps there with the basket. Cuts the lead to 5. Riley working on Evans. Peterson's going to launch the 3. That one is off. 3 Mustangs in there battling for it.
You got to love the effort from Nick Dufault. He was the smallest one on the court, probably, going in with 2 of his 6'7" teammates, and he almost came away with that rebound.
Pass inside, off by Phipps. And we are going to have our final media timeout of this first half. Mustangs trail by 5. You're watching Mustang basketball on SMSU Media.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Mustangs trail by 5. So you're just a little under 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Connor, almost night and day difference from last night to tonight for the Mustangs. Last night, the only time that the Mayville State Comets led was early on in that game. Otherwise, the Mustangs rode out the lead for the remainder of that game. Right now, the Mustangs can't buy a basket from three-point, can't buy a basket really, period. 10 of 24, good for 41%. They just can't get anything going.
They can't get anything going. Sam, we were talking in the pregame, Mustangs have hit a 3 in over 600 consecutive games. Last time they didn't hit a 3 in a game was in 1998. They have yet to hit a 3 in this game in an era where the three-point ball is almost what a lot of teams look for. And they're a good three-point shooting team. They just can't get one to fall.
A basket inside. Jarrett Johnson is good. Lead is back up to 7. Hanson finds Dufault. Dufault finds Hanson in the corner. Thought about the 3. But he will drive and is blocked. Puts a basket back up, no good. Connor, that's a shot where we would usually see Braden Hanson take, but so far he has missed 2 threes. And He missed a couple last night, too, so you almost wonder if Braden Hansen's confidence is a little shaken.
Maybe a little bit. And Sam, I'm noticing out on the court, there is no Jake Phipps or Baker McGrath. So we mentioned maybe not that true center out there, and that's kind of what Brad Bigler is doing right now. Braden Hansen kind of playing that 5.
In the corner for Kramer. Damon down low. Dribbling it around. Looked like a lot of contact, but Damon didn't get anything.
Russ must have thinking there that Damon forcing the contact, but it did look as though Corbin Alexander came down on his head a little bit.
Dufault grabs the rebound for the Mustangs. If you're the Mustangs, you want to close out this first half. Getting some points and some big stops. Try to cut this lead. And that one tipped away. Up ahead to Hyder. He will take a 3-point basket. Looked like it may have been tipped. Byers skies for the rebound. Mustangs have numbers if they hurry. Dufault, corner, 3, no good. Hansen comes down with it. Can't get the bunny to go, but gets his own rebound and puts it up.
A lot of quick pace right there, kind of what the Mustangs like to do. Nick Dufault, though, wide open 3, can't get it to fall. Not something you like to see out of Nick Dufault.
Riley inside, he will kick back out. Nice defense there by Byers. 3-point basket by Hyder off the front of the rim. Damon comes down with the board. Byers moving it up. We're going to get a foul. That will be on the ground. That'll be on Corbin Alexander, his second. His team's 5th.
Not a lot of fouls called here in this first half, and we saw that last night too. Not a lot of free throws or fouls called. So 2 away, only 30 seconds left in this half.
The Mustangs are going to try to milk the clock as much as possible at a 3-second differential. Just try to milk it down as far as possible. Don't give the Cougars an opportunity to hit a last-second shot. Byers is going to get the screen from Kramer. He'll put a basket up, and it's good. That cuts the lead to 3. Damon with the steal. Finds Byers inside. They got to put it up. Dufault 3 out of the corner. Can't get it to fall. That would have tied up the game. Mustangs opportunity to tie it up going into halftime. However, they only trail by 3. It's 28-31. We'll be back shortly before the second half to recap the first, preview the second. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew? Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew. You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did this. Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
SMSU down 3 as we are just about ready to begin this second half. Live from the RA facility on the campus of Southwest Minnesota State University on SMSU Media. Sam Prell alongside Connor Dobb. Connor, the first half story for the Mustangs. Sloppy play, 0 of 8 from beyond the arc, which is absolutely incredible for a team who is such a good three-point shooter from a number of different players. To go 0 of 8 is something that we haven't seen in a very long time for the Mustangs.
That is something we have not seen for a long time in the Mustangs, as long as I've been alive. You said you were about 8 months old when you showed me that stat.
Yeah, 626 straight games the Mustangs have hit a three-point basket. The last time, December 11th, 1998. I was about 6 months old at the time, was the last time the Mustangs didn't hit a three-point basket. They were 0 of 10 on that night. So far, 0 of 8. And Connor, it's not like they haven't had any bad looks. They've had a lot of good looks. Right at the end, Nick Dufault had a wide-open three-pointer in the corner, but he missed it. So the Mustangs just got to find some way to knock down a three-point basket, not just to keep that streak alive, but also got to get back in this game.
Nick Dufault did have a really nice look at the end, but yes, you're right, Sam. They do have to knock down shots to get back into this game. They're only down 3, but they could be up by a lot more if they hit some of their open three-point looks, because they've had a lot of them.
Minnesota Morris not doing a whole lot better. They're 5 of 14, but those 5 makes compared to the Mustangs 0 does quite a bit. Shot clock running under 5, and nice job there by the Mustang. Good defensive stop to start this second half.
Good defensive possession there for the Mustangs, running the shot clock down and then forcing a turnover. One thing we haven't seen, Cliff McCray, he hasn't gotten to the scoring column yet. Neither, I don't think, has Caden Evans, who's coming off the bench. And as I say that, Cliff McCray says, I'm a scorer right now.
Cliff McCray, true freshman guard, 1 of 5 freshmen brought in by Coach Brad Bigler. Gets that basket to fall. He'll head to the line to shoot 1. As I mentioned, 1 of 5 freshmen brought in. Connor, the way that it looks, the other 4 are more than likely going to redshirt this year, so Brad Bigler won't have them until next season unless, for some reason, Coach Bigler gets plagued with injuries during the season, which we hope doesn't happen because he had plenty of issues with that last season. But he'll have 4 freshmen who just get to know the system, get to know the coach, get to know their teammates, and just get a whole year of practice without having to play a game, which will make them probably even better than they already were, which is why they're here.
Nice steal there by the Mustangs going the other way. And as Byers gets an and-one opportunity, he'll head to the line for 1 more. Getting back to those freshmen, though, Sam, you're absolutely right. Bigler did have to deal with a lot of injury issues last year. And we did mention, though, if only 1 or 2 of those guys go down, he might have to bring one of them up because he plans on, or he uses almost everyone in his rotation outside of Kevin Todacek on this team. So everyone that dresses and isn't redshirt, he plans to use.
Byers gets the free throw to go. Mustangs went from being down 3 to begin this half to being up 3, 6-point swing. And that one just out of reach, saved nicely there by the Cougars. Peterson will launch the three-point basket. It's off, battled for, almost tipped back in. Damon comes up with it. Mustangs looking to push the floor once again. McCray drives, basket up, good.
And I know we mentioned this last night because I said it a couple times last night. Cliff McCray, very fast, very speedy. They want him to be that Ryan Brueggemann type, very hard to replace. Cliff McCray can do it with his skill set.
Cliff McCray, all of a sudden, 7 points on the board, 5 quick points to begin this second half. Dylan Hyder gets a little bit of space. His three-point basket is off. He finds the lane, passes it back out. Basket put up. Cliff McCray is going to get called for that foul. James Pendleton, nice drive there. That's McCray's first, team's first of the half.
Very good scramble drill there by the Mustangs. I mean, Grant Kramer went down on one of the dribble moves by the Cougars, and very passing it around, and the Mustangs did a nice job getting to all those open shooters. Unfortunately, they got bailed out by a foul call.
Saw on that replay Cliff McRae getting basically all of Pendleton's arms, so there was no doubt about it that was a foul. Pendleton gets the first free throw to fall. Second one rattles around the rim a few times and then falls. For those two, Pendleton 82% from the free throw line this season. That percentage will go up. He's 2 for 2 on the night. Byers drives.
Those 2 free throws by Pendleton, the first 2 on the game for the Cougars, as Baker McGrath has a nice take, or Grant Kramer rather, has a nice take to the rim and finishes for his first 2 points of the game.
Nice drive by Grant Kramer. Mustangs have come out on fire in this second half. Now with a 5-point lead. Hyder over Jarrett Johnson, 3-point basket, and it's good.
It's one thing Brad Bigler probably talked to his team during halftime. He was not happy with the intensity and how the Mustangs were playing. Come out strong here. Big 3 there by Jarrett Johnson, keeping this game close still.
That is his 13th point. 3 3-pointers made. And we are going to get an offensive foul here called on Kenny Byers. Connor, the unfortunate part of that, the Mustangs made a 3, but there was an offensive foul called on Kenny Byers, so Mustangs still looking for that first 3-point make. There's Caden Evans, Nick Dufall, Braden Hansen, and Jake Phipps check into the game for the Mustangs. Nice drive by Riley. He took that thing coast to coast, a couple stutter steps. Created just enough space to get by a few defenders. Got that basket to fall.
Kenny Byers raising his hands, trying not to pick up a second foul, and none of his teammates really came up to help him out. Kenneth Riley had a clear lane right to the rim.
Evans almost looked like he had an open 3 there, but decided to pass it to a guarded Kenny Byers in the corner. Dufall drive, finds Hansen. Hansen with an easy basket.
Nice drive and kick there by Nick Dufall. Looked like he was going to put it up with the shot clock winding down. Saw he had Braden Hansen right underneath the rim. Nice assist there by Nick Dufall.
Pendleton. Riley now with it. Morris, good motion. Byers comes away with the steal. Byers using his speed, heading the other way. Basket up is off. Byers looked like he got fouled there and almost picked up a frustration foul on himself. 3-point basket, this time off Pendleton. Shortest guy out there for the Cougars comes up with a rebound. Hansen back pass Dufall. Hansen's going to fire a 3, and it's good! The streak will not die here on the 22nd of November in 2019. 627 now consecutive games with a made 3-point basket for the Mustangs. Connor, I hope we never have to go through this ever again this entire season. I hope the Mustangs make a couple of them early. And Nick Dufall is going to get a flopping warning. That is the first time I think I have ever seen a flop warning be given here in the RA facility. So if Nick Dufall does it again, I believe that will be probably a technical free throw that will be awarded.
That's what I'd have to assume, yes.
That is the first for everything here. And
there was contact there, but they were saying not enough to knock Nick Dufall over, apparently. But it doesn't take the strongest guy, I'd say, to knock over Nick Dufall with his frame.
And now we're going to get an offensive foul on the Mustangs called. Connor, you and I played basketball all throughout high school. I don't know about you, but that's what I was taught. When you take any sort of contact, you're supposed to fall over and see if you can get that foul call. But see, in the NBA and in college, they're cracking down on flopping quite a bit, and that's why they've added, you get a warning, and now you get a technical if they have to call it again on you.
They are trying to crack down on that, but I still thought there was enough contact there to knock over Nick Dufall, and there shouldn't have been a foul call.
And now we're going to get an offensive foul called on the Cougars. Connor, last night we didn't have that many fouls called all throughout the game, and not even 5 minutes into the second half, and we already have 6 combined fouls, 3 for each team. That one on Peterson is his first. So Mustangs will take the ball. Cliff McCray, Brian Damon, and Weston Baker McGrath check back in during that last timeout. McGrath, a little hook shot, good.
And with that shot by Baker McGrath, it was a nice lefty hook too, by the way. He's right-handed naturally, so very nice shot. With that basket, he's up to 12 points, which is a new career high here with the Mustangs.
Mismatch down low. Peterson on Dufault, and Peterson takes advantage. Mustangs switching screens, and Peterson taking advantage of the very smaller Nick Dufault. Cliff McCray outside Dufault. Shot long. Brian Damon runs down the board.
Nice rebound there by Brian Damon. Long shot by Nick Dufault. As Kramer takes a three and makes it. Nice three there by Grant Kramer. We didn't see him score a whole lot last year. He does right there.
Grant Kramer, early on in the season, in the UMD Classic, had his career high in points with 14. Kind of one of those role players where he fills in the spots that the head coach of the Mustangs, Brad Bigger, needs him to. Currently sits 13th in assists per game in the NSIC with a little over 3. Brian Damon goes up. Nice foul there by the Cougars. That's Trenton Jerome. Don't allow the easy basket. Make Brian Damon earn him at the line, and that is going to be our first media timeout of this second half. You're watching Mustang basketball on SMSU Media.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practice so frequent.
Mustangs have opened up an 8-point lead. They trailed by 3 coming into the second half. Connor, Mustangs before the beginning of the second half, 0 of 8 from beyond the arc. They've hit 2, so in the second half, not a great percentage. They're 2 of 10 for 20%. But the point is, now they're seeing them go down. And when Braden Hansen makes that first one, then Grant Kramer makes another one. It's shooting is very, very contagious in the game of basketball, and right there for the Mustangs, it's proof, and they've been on fire in the second half.
They really have. They've come out, they've knocked down 2 threes. Nick Dufault couldn't get one to go earlier in the half, but that hasn't stopped him. He's the best shooter on this team. He's going to keep shooting them. You know what they say, shooters shoot, and Nick Dufault is definitely a shooter.
Before we went to that first media timeout, Brian Damon had a breakaway, but he was fouled. Shooting 2 will be Brian Damon. You see so far in the season, 20% from the free throw line. So he gets the first one to fall.
And leading up to that foul, a nice defensive play by Nick Dufault. Nick Peterson backing down Cliff McCray in the post. Dufault came over for the double, and Brian Damon, beneficiary of a steal, heads to the line and makes both free throws.
Damon knocks them both down. Mustangs have opened up a 10-point advantage. McCray with a little bump. And the way that the referees are calling fouls tonight, Connor, even something like that is going to get it called.
Not a lot of calls in the first half. I think there were either 6 or 7 foul calls total in the first half. There's already 8 here in the second half. Cracking down on defense and hand checking and all that stuff here in the second half.
Little bump there, but Cliff McCray with his hands up, definitely no way for that one to get called.
There's a steal by Grant Kramer. I kind of expected that one to be called. Came down. And we mentioned earlier in the game, you come down like that, you're almost always going to get a foul call. Grant Kramer a little lucky there. There was no call.
Foul called here as Kramer gets bumped. 15 foul on the Cougars. Baker McGrath backing him down. Another hook shot. Weston Baker McGrath loving that hook shot here tonight. And he is up to 14 points.
There's nobody on this Cougar team that's been able to stop Baker McGrath. He's taller than most of the people out there, or well, he is taller than all the people out there for the Cougars. Can shoot it over him nicely, and he's taking advantage of that here in this game.
Damon, good defense. And that ball will be kicked. So the shot clock is going to reset to 20. Byers, Hanson, and Evans check in for the Mustangs.
Brian Damon there, he was saying that the ball was kicked off a Cougar, or was off a Cougar player. Rest didn't see that, and that's unlucky for the Mustangs because what was a six-second shot clock gets reset to 20 now.
Baker McGrath daring one of the Cougars to shoot the three, that being Ian Carlin. Nice drive there by Jerome. He gets the basket to fall. That cuts the lead back down to 10. Kramer drives, trying to find someone. Three-point basket. That one is good by Braden Hansen.
You know, coming into this game, we kind of expected the Mustangs to shoot a lot of threes, and they have. They've only made 3 of them. The most surprising probably is that Braden Hansen is the one that's made the most threes in this game for the Mustangs.
He has 2 of the 3 makes. Three-point basket by Jerome. And we are going to get a foul call on Braden Hansen. That is Hansen's first. Brian Damon checks in. Baker McGrath is going to sit. So, Connor, once again, we see the Mustangs going with, if you want to call it a smaller lineup, I guess you could. Kramer and Hansen, both at 6'7". Damon at 6'6". So this is their smaller lineup without Phipps or Baker McGrath, and they're both those guys at 6'8" and 6'9".
You still have more height out there, which is a plus side for the Mustangs, but you don't have that true center like Baker McGrath or Jake Phipps.
Kramer drives, attempting to kick back out, and they're going to get an offensive foul again, this time on Grant Kramer. That is his first. Team 6th. So 11 minutes left, and 1 more foul on the Mustangs to put the Cougars in the bonus.
Yeah, and only 2 more fouls on the Cougars will put the Mustangs in the bonus. So a lot more foul calls here in the second half.
That one lost out of bounds by Jerome. So the Mustangs, offensive foul, turn the ball over, get the ball right back, looking to increase their lead, which currently sits at 11.
This is the type of first half the Mustangs were looking for. They finally get it here in the second half. 11-point game, but they'd like this lead to be bigger. They wanted to come out with this intensity.
Hansen, stuck, tips off of Alexander. Didn't even know that the ball was coming. Kramer going to pull up just inside the arc, and that is a 2. Grant Kramer now with 7.
Saw little shades of Ryan Brueggemann there, kind of sizing up his defender, take a dribble, take that mid-range jumper, and knock it down.
Three-pointer by Alexander is off. Damon, who was guarding Alexander, comes up with the rebound. Three-point basket by Evans, rattles out. Cougars come up with it. 13-point lead for the Mustangs as we're entering 10 minutes remaining in this game.
Caden Evans not having quite the game he did last night. Good open look there. Couldn't knock it down. He's made impacts other ways, but definitely not the scoring output he had last night.
Jarrett Johnson able to get that one to fall. He is up to 17 points. Byers gets it from Kramer. Evans in the corner. Outside, Hansen will fire another one, and this time it's off, but Byers comes down with the offensive board. Outside, Kramer will shoot the three. That one off. Damon puts it up. A lot of contact. Gets his own rebound and puts it in.
Brian Damon, redshirt freshman, and I feel like I'm speaking for you, Sam. Maybe I'm not, but we weren't really expecting Brian Damon to play a whole lot this year, but he's surprised me in these 2 games I've gotten to see him play.
And coming off redshirt freshman, weren't expecting to see a whole lot from him, and I will agree with you, Connor, with all of the talent that Brad Bigler has. Used him in the first 2 games, and then in the UMD Classic, he started both of those games for Coach Bigler, and he started ever since. We'll continue talking a little bit about Brian Damon when we get back. Second media timeout of the second half. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
With this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Mustangs hold a 13-point lead. We are just over 9 minutes remaining in this second half. Before we went to break, we were talking about Brian Damon. Neither one of us, Connor, we were expecting to see a whole lot from him. Obviously get playing time. Had a whole year to practice last year. So did Jake Phipps. So did Caden Evans. What we're seeing from Brian Damon, a lot of hustle, working hard, playing almost kind of like the 5 when Weston Baker McGrath or Jake Phipps aren't in. So all around, very good numbers early for Brian Damon. This is his 4th start after playing in the first 2 games of the season and then getting the 2 starts in the UMD Classic and getting the 2 starts on his home floor. First time he's played here as a Mustang.
Yeah, Brian Damon, in this game so far, he has 6 points. He's only 2 for 5 shooting, but he's 2 for 2. But what I'd like to see is what he's doing on the rebounding side of things. He has 6 rebounds. 4 of them are on the offensive glass. And he is playing nearly 27 minutes a game for Coach Brad Bigler. So that obviously shows that Coach Brad Bigler has a lot of faith in his redshirt freshman.
Brian Damon, Caden Evans, and Jake Phipps, the 3 players that redshirted last year for Coach Brad Bigler, and all of them a key part of this rotation. Jake Phipps has had himself some foul trouble in this game, so we haven't seen a whole lot from him as the second free throw off there for the Cougars. And the Mustangs get the rebound.
Damon taking a 3 here. Not something we usually see from Damon. We usually see him inside, but maybe feeling himself a little bit there, thinking he had that 3-point range. And we've seen him take a couple so far this year.
Ryan Damon this season has taken 13 3-pointers, only making 4 coming into this game. Byers kicks it out. Hansen finds McCray. McCray trying to find a lane. He does, puts it up, and we are going to get a foul. That one is going to be on Pendleton. That is his first, team 6th. One more foul, and the Cougars will be over the limit. Mustangs will be shooting in the bonus. Mustangs already over the limit, so they have put the Cougars in the bonus for the remainder of this game. A lot of fouls called in the second half. Cliff McCray has his first free throw roll off the rim.
You know, one of my keys to the game earlier in this game, Sam, or at the beginning of this game, was the balanced attack, and that's what I'm seeing here based on the scoring outputs for the Mustangs, as Cliff McCray misses the second one, too.
Cliff McCray coming into this game, 9 of 19 from the free throw line. Luckily there, Mustangs able to get the offensive board. Hanson driving in, finds Byers underneath and a throwdown! Kenny Byers, another throwdown. He had 2 of them last night. So did Weston Baker McGrath. And a block there, but we're going to get a foul call. Connor, we were talking to Baker McGrath's brother last night after the game, and we decided that between Byers and Baker McGrath, we might as well start a dunk total and keep track as the season goes along, at least at home, to see how many they have so far. Each of them have 3, and this game isn't even over yet. If they keep playing like this, it's going to be an exciting year in the RA facility for us and for these Mustang fans.
If I'm being honest, Sam, I did not expect Kenny Byers to get up there and throw that one down. I thought he was just going to kind of lay that one up. Kenny Byers exploded off the ground and absolutely threw that one down. That was a nice play by Kenny Byers.
First free throw good, second one off. Evans drags down the rebound. He checked in as well as Grant Kramer and Weston Baker McGrath for the Mustangs.
And speaking of dunks and Caden Evans going up for that rebound, he got up there pretty nice. And a lot of these guys watching warm-ups, they all have the ability to get up there and throw that ball down. So don't just think that we'll only see Kenny Byers and Baker McGrath throw it down. I expect we'll see 1 or 2 of these other players to have at least a couple dunks before this season ends.
Dylan Hyder called for the foul. That is his 4th foul of the game. 1 more, and Dylan Hyder will be done for the night. Caden Evans heads to the line, got the first one to fall. And he'll get the second one to fall as well. First free throws on the season for Caden Evans. As we mentioned, beginning of the game, sat out the first 4 games of the season with an injury. So he played his first game yesterday in his collegiate career, as we've mentioned, redshirted his freshman year. Nice tip there by Baker McGrath and a pass ahead to Nick Dufault. Baker McGrath with a mismatch, and he hits the floor trying to save it. But it's going to be a turnover on the Mustangs. Pendleton tries to drive. And I don't know, Connor, looked like a lot of steps there, but goes right into the contact that Evans offered and gets the foul call.
Maybe a third step in there, but looks like the officials are saying that Evans' foul is kind of what caused Pendleton to take that third step, so it'll be a foul call on Pendleton heading to the line for 2 free throws, and he misses the first.
Cougars this season, a combined 75% from the line. They go 1 of 2. And Zach Bubani is going to check back in for the Cougars, as well as Ian Carlin.
Ian Carlin and Jarrett Johnson. Carlin coming in for Johnson. They're both freshmen, and they're both a bit smaller, having to deal with Baker McGrath, and we've seen how that works, is Baker McGrath leading the Mustangs with 14 points.
And just as we mentioned that, another just back down play by Baker McGrath. Getting that one to fall. Mustang leading 16 points. Connor, if you're a big man and you look on the other side and you're listed at 6'8", but I don't know, he looks a little bit taller than that, and they're going to stick guys that are 6'6" and lower than on you. You got to just be absolutely thrilled. And Dak comes up with the steal. Little lackadaisical play there from Baker McGrath.
Baker McGrath looking for somebody to throw the ball to, and he had Caden Evans with him, but didn't see him. And then a careless turnover there as he tried to find Kramer.
Baker McGrath, a true center, not used to driving or to having the ball in his hands unless it is down on the block, and a nice drive there from Dylan Hyder as we look at that steal. A little bit too far of a distance there to make that pass, and Dak just read it like a book. Mustangs holding on to a 15-point lead. Baker McGrath inside. Nice little lay-in on the pass from Grant Kramer.
Sam, I feel like I could read your mind there. You were hoping Baker McGrath threw that one down.
I think everybody in here was hoping that Baker McGrath would throw that one down, but 2 points is 2 points. The Mustangs are just trying to close this one out.
5.5 remaining. Mustangs getting closer and closer with a 17-point lead.
Three-pointer up, and that one is good. Camden, tally. The Cougars will not go away in this game. It's only 14 points, little over 5 minutes remaining. Evans with it. He finds Kramer inside. Baker McGrath, hook shot. This time no good. McCray battles for the board. But Tally comes up with it.
Cliff McCray doing a nice job getting in on the boards there, almost poking it away for an offensive rebound.
Nice pass by Dylan Hyder going between Caden Evans' legs. But Dak unable to be able to put it up cleanly. We are going to have our final media timeout of this game. You're watching Mustang basketball on SMSU Media.
My name is Nicholas Dahlhoff. I grew up in Hadley, Minnesota. I'm a broadcasting and digital media major here at SMSU. I produced and edited a video that helped celebrate SMSU's 50th anniversary. Come join us here at the Communication Studies program here at SMSU.
Mustangs holding on to a 14-point lead, just under 5 minutes remaining in this game. And Connor, we see right there, Dylan Hyder. Initially, I thought it looked like he went between Caden Evans' legs. He did not, but Dak unable to get the ball up cleanly. It's going to be University of Morris ball. We see Weston Baker McGrath right there, tonight's leading scorer with 18 points. That is a new career high for him as a Mustang, only playing in his 6th game for his hometown college from Marshall, Minnesota. Initially went to Nebraska Kearney and then transferred back, and he will end his playing career here for Coach Brad Bigler. Only a junior, so Coach Bigler's got him for one more season.
And I think Coach Brad Bigler is very happy that Baker McGrath decided to come back home, because he's got to be liking what he's seeing here tonight. Baker McGrath also very nice job on the defensive side of the ball too, which is probably what Brad Bigler brought him here more for.
Byers gets the shot to fall. Kick back out, Dak. Cougars trying to find a lane. Shot put up, airballed. Hansen comes down with the rebound. McCray drives, puts up a shot, just rattles out, but Damon there with a nice tip in.
And that's kind of what we were saying earlier about Brian Damon. We didn't expect him to have as big an impact, and here he's proven us wrong. That is his 5th offensive rebound of the game.
8 points now for Brian Damon in his short career, only 6 games, but it's a career high.
I'm hoping to see it, that Brian Damon can get a higher career high one of these games.
Cliff McCray out in front of everybody, and he went up, but had it stripped away. Kenny Byers comes up with the offensive board, and now the Mustangs lead is 20 with 3 minutes remaining.
That's the way you like to see. Ball poked away from Cliff McCray, and a deep 3 there by Zach Bubani, hitting it. Still a 17-point game, though. Cougars trail. Kenny Byers there with the nice hustle there to clean up the knock away from Cliff McCray.
Byers drives. Hansen kicks back out. McCray with it up top. And that is going to be a travel. Took a step before he started his dribble. Subs coming in for the Mustangs. Nick Dufault is going to check in as we see right here. Cliff McRae, before he started to dribble, put the ball on the floor. And we are going to get a sub in also for the Mustangs. It's going to be Kevin Todashek.
I saw that move by Cliff McRae, and I was kind of questioning it, but a nice call by the officials. As you saw in that replay, McRae dragged his right foot a little bit before he put the ball down. Nice call.
Subs in also for the Cougars. Zach Ersfeld, Nick Garman, Ethan Hauge, and bear with me, Connor, Galvi Ngim Ukua. For the remainder of this game, we'll just call him Galvi.
Probably the right decision, because we've been trying to pronounce that name all night when we've been off air, and we haven't been able to do it.
So good basket there by McRae. Galvi with it. He drives, puts a basket up. No good. Evans comes down with the board.
You know, when I saw that name, too, I was expecting to see a town in Africa, but Galvi, he's a freshman. He's from Forest Lake, Minnesota.
Todashek inside, puts a basket up, air ball. They're going to call a foul. Kevin Todashek is going to head to the line to shoot two.
Todashek, a walk-on freshman from a couple years ago, redshirted, and now he's a sophomore. He's looking for his first points of the year.
First free throw up and good for Kevin Todashek in his career. First time at the free throw line. So right now, Kevin Todashek, 100% from the line. But he's got a second one. And that one is off, but he gets the own rebound. Battling for it, and he kicks it out to Cliff McRae.
Kevin Todashek, only a sophomore. He's got a few more years to show Brad Bigler what he's got, but he's looking to make a name right now.
Pass inside by Evans. Tipped out, Hauge. With that tip, 8 seconds on the shot clock for the Mustangs. Minute and a half remaining in this game. Dufault in the corner. He'll dribble it out. He finds Todashek, cross court. Evans, three-pointer at the buzzer is good.
Nice find there by Kevin Todashek. Enough time on the clock, and he passed it out. Caden Evans knocking down the three.
Kevin Todashek in this game, patting the stats. He's got a point. He's got an offensive board. Now he's got an assist.
We mentioned that three from Caden Evans and how the Mustangs have been able to knock down threes in this half. One thing we haven't seen, though, is Nick Dufault. He's being held scoreless in this game.
Evans drives, finds Dufault. Kicks out, Mustangs moving the ball around. Dufault is wide open up on the perimeter, and Cliff McRae drives, basket good. Foul on Ethan Hauge, his first.
Nice finish there by Cliff McRae, going baseline and then using his body to shield off the defender as he went up and finished the layup.
And that free throw falls. Cliff McRae completes the and one. Pass ahead to Hauge. Three-pointer in the corner. That one is good. Nick Garman, freshman out of Crookston, Minnesota, able to get it to fall. 2-second differential between shot and game clock.
And Cliff McRae here dribbling it out. Well, dribbling at the top of the key. I was wondering if he was going to dribble it out this time like he did last night, but that's not what he's doing.
Todashek spin move inside, goes up. The Cougars stepped out of bounds. So not a clear change of possession. So Mustangs, 6 seconds left on the shot clock. 1.5 seconds separate the game and the shot clock. Mustangs got to get it in. Todashek with it. Hands off. Evans is just going to dribble it out. And 2.5 seconds left in this game. Mustangs are going to come away with the victory. 23-point victory over the University of Minnesota Morris Cougars. We will step aside. We will come back to wrap up this game after this break. Mustangs with a big win. You're watching Mustang Basketball on SMSU Media.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Mustangs 82-59 victory over the University of Minnesota Morris Cougars. Connor, that first half did not look good for the Mustangs. Coming out in the second half, they put the Jets on early, opened up an early 10-point advantage, and never looked back.
They really didn't. They came out in the second half strong. Coach Brad Bigler was not happy with what he saw in the first half. Laid into his team at halftime, I'm assuming, because they came out ready to play. Down by 3. They outscored Minnesota Morris by 26 in the second half.
Mustangs, 3 players in double figures. Weston Baker McGrath, leading scorer for the Mustangs with 18. Kenny Byers followed him with 15. Cliff McCray with 12. Also, Braden Hansen with 10. Mustangs from the field tonight, not the greatest from the three-point line, not what they wanted at all. Didn't get a make from three-point until the second half. So moving on, you definitely want to make more three-pointers in that first half. Mustangs were down 3 at halftime to a Division III school, Connor. That's definitely not what you want for your program, especially since you're D2.
Yeah, the Mustangs, though, they came out strong in the second half. Hit the threes that we're so accustomed to seeing from the Mustangs. One person that didn't hit a three that I'm shocked didn't score even at all tonight was number 12, Nick Dufault. Best shooter on the team, in my opinion, but he did not score at all tonight.
Give credit to the Cougars. They had a great fight put on. Jared Johnson, leading scorer for the Cougars, 17 points. And then a triple threat with 7 points. Dylan Heider, Riley, and then Carlin also with 7 points. So give credit to the Cougars. As we mentioned, very young team. Not a single senior on that team. Actually, 2 seniors, but 8 freshmen. So University of Minnesota Morris, they have nothing to worry about. They're playing a D2 school, so a little out of their league, but they played a very good game tonight, and I'd be worried if I was in their conference once they get to conference play.
Minnesota Morris played a really strong game tonight. You mentioned only 2 seniors and that they're very young, but we saw in that first half, they were leading by 3 at halftime. So they've shown that they can play with some tougher schools. So, and I was checking their schedule earlier. They only lost by 6 points to a St. John's team, a D3 St. John's team that was ranked 12th overall in all of Division III. So we know this Minnesota Morris team can play.
Once again, Mustangs picking up a 23-point victory. They will return back here to the RE facility.